It has already started, but it started on Saturday because I was watching this weekend.
Okay.
As normal. But I knew that you would not have any idea of what's happened, so I just Sharpied out all the parts on the bracket, and I'll use the honor system to assume that you're not going to cheat.
Well, that's not going to happen, so already cheating right now.
There's only one series.
Dude, my welding instructor used to tell me all the time, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah. How did that advice serve you?
I passed all my welding tests. I was a AWS certified
There's really
welder.
only one series where that gives you a massive advantage. And you know that bet that we have where it's like, oh, whoever gets whoever wins both brackets gets whatever. Well, what I didn't think about is how the NBA is not as good of a league parity-wise, and so I have a way bigger disadvantage in that the league that I know actually parity-wise. No.
Yeah.
We don't even have time to get into that, but I'll rip you apart at that point. Hockey time. My favorite.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the house, episode 38. If you need homeless or at-risk youth services, including but not limited to behavioral health treatment, you can take it to my house, 300 North Willow Street, downtown Wasilla. I'm Isaac Smolden, and while I may not know ball, I do know puck, and Bryan Fields is also here, and it's his turn to be totally clueless. So, Bryan, how are you approaching this bracket challenge? I'm assuming you're just going off of who has the best name.
It don't matter if it's Avalanche.
That's a really hard one to rhyme. Yeah. You really screwed up. I knew what you were doing as soon as you tried it, and I was like, wrong team. Should have gone Blues. You could have the Blues. You could lose. You could play some foosball.
Yeah.
Vegas in 5.
Vegas in 5, baby. That's how we're approaching it. Vegas is coming back to the championships, and we're winning it all.
So
that's all there is to it.
The playoffs have started.
Is over.
But I did fill out my bracket beforehand. You're going to fill yours out live on the air. And what's funny about Vegas in 5, spoiler alert, is I have Vegas going pretty deep. So I'm assuming you're just choosing your picks based off a team name alone. So here's one that you're going to love. First round, the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Ottawa Senators. Bryan, let's hear it.
We're going to go with the Maple Leafs.
All right. I, too, have picked the Maple Leafs. The Toronto has a bad habit over the last 9 years of getting bounced in the first round every time except once, where they lost in the second round instead. But Ottawa is a very green team with a lot of young players. I think they're a good team. It's super cool that they made it here. But despite the Leafs' playoff failure, I think that the core four and we'll turn it on this year. They got some more playoff-like experience in the Four Nations this year. Their decor is the best it's ever been with this current iteration of the Leafs. The goaltending's the best it's ever been with this current iteration of the Leafs. I have a lot of faith in Toronto in the first round. I do have it going 7 games because I don't have that much faith in the Leafs, and they are notorious playoff chokers, so I have Toronto in 7.
Wow.
Next matchup, the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Florida Panthers.
Why does Florida even have a team?
Better names? They have 2 teams. Wow. And both these teams have combined for 3 Stanley Cups in the last 5 years. There has not been a Stanley Cup final in the last 5 years that has not featured a hockey team from Florida.
Yeah, we're going with the Panthers. Didn't they get they went last year, didn't they?
They are the current defending Stanley Cup champions. I'm very proud of you for knowing that. And I too have picked the Panthers in 7. I think this is going to be a really, really good series. The great thing about the NHL is love or hate how they do the playoff seeding with the divisional and then the 2 wild cards kind of getting screwed. Like the first wild card for the West is the Wild, who were pretty good all year. They have like an impossible matchup against Vegas. The Stars and the Avalanche are 2 teams that could easily be playing in the finals. Instead, they're meeting in the first round. It does make for entertaining hockey. the whole way through a lot of the time. Battle of Florida, I've got the Panthers. I think they make it. Next matchup, the Washington Capitals versus the Montreal Canadiens.
We don't like Canadians.
Okay. And
we're going to cut that. We got beef is what I meant to say, and it came out wrong. I apologize, Canada.
My grandma's Canadian.
But you're not there. So you're not going to win.
You know, so far, Bryan, I think that you're 3 for 3 with your picks. I also have taken the Capitals. They were very nearly the President's Trophy winners. I think they have the second best record in the league behind Winnipeg. Alex Ovechkin is on an absolute tear right now. And Montreal kind of has the same thing as Ottawa, where it's great that they made it here. I think they're a super great up-and-coming team. Demidov joined the team late, has looked fantastic, but they're just too young. Experience wins in the playoffs. I've got the Caps in 5.
Okay.
How'd you feel about the names there? You don't like the Washington Capitals?
No. I mean, it's not as off-putting.
Okay.
But as the Senators.
Next matchup, we've got We've got the Carolina Hurricanes versus
Rock me like a hurricane. That better be their anthem.
It is not their goal song. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Really missing an opportunity there.
The New Jersey Devils is the other team. You don't like the Devils?
I don't like the Devils, but I'm taking them.
You're taking the Devils.
I'm taking the Devils.
I have the Hurricanes. I think the Hurricanes sweep the Devils. The Devils have been awful the second half of the season. They're
not going to happen.
They're missing their best player, and Carolina is a playoff team with proven success. Sorry, Roger, who is a New Jersey Devils fans. Canes in 4. Moving over to the West, the Winnipeg Jets versus the St. Louis Blues. Bryan, who you got?
It hurts me to take any team that is named the Jets, but we're taking the Jets.
That is the smart call. They are the President's Trophy winners. Now, the Blues entered the playoffs as the hottest team in the NHL. I took the Blues, but hindsight being 2020, the Blues are currently down 2-0 as of the time of this recording. Bryan, did you know that with your pick of the Jets?
Yeah. 1,000% did, because I was gonna pick them because their name is the Jets.
Just gonna put a little asterisk next to that one in my mind. Then I'll play with the handicap. That's fine. I took the Blues. The Blues looked really, really good the last part of the playoffs.
Real blue when I
they've got really good coaching, but
that I know nothing about.
Unfortunately, the Jets right now are up 2-0. The Dallas Stars versus the Colorado Avalanche. The only good professional sports team that Dallas has versus my team, the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I'm taking the Avalanche. I think for me, what I really want to see happen here is for them to go and you give you a glimmer of hope and then watch you just be so upset. So that's why I'm taking the
You would have watched me be very upset last night because the Stars won in overtime. I thought the Avs were about to go up 2-0, but I do have this series going 7. These are two of the best teams in the playoffs, in my eyes, going against each other round 1. But I, too, took the Avs. I think they're just a more complete team that might... I don't think that's a fan take. I think a lot of people have the Avs this series, but... I don't want to act like, oh yeah, Avs in 5. The Stars are very, very good. This one is going to be decided by a razor's edge. Yep. The Vegas,
not even a question.
Golden Knights,
not even a question. Next question,
versus the Minnesota Wild.
Next question, please.
You're taking Vegas
all day, every day.
Smart money's on Vegas. The Wild have been awful as of late, and Vegas has been world beaters all year, first in the Pacific Division. I'd be shocked if the Wild won more than a game. Vegas is probably my lock of the week behind the Hurricanes.
Lock of the week.
The Los Angeles Kings versus the Edmonton Oilers is the last matchup of the first round.
We're going to take the Kings.
I, too, have the Kings. The Kings were up 4-0 yesterday. The Oilers came back and tied the game 5-5 late in the third period with 2 goals in the last 90 seconds. The Kings then turned around and after surrendering a 4-goal lead, scored 45 seconds later to win the game 6-5.
That's what I'm talking about.
The Oilers have been struggling. I thought you were a Vegas fan. Now you're letting your Lakers blind you.
Yeah, a little
with
bit.
the Kings.
It's
But
okay.
the Kings are an exciting
LA,
team.
baby.
So the Kings have
And
played
they're
the
also
Oilers.
named after, not necessarily, but my high school teams is the Kings.
That is true. The
K-
K-High Kings.
K-High Kings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Kings have played the Oilers the last 3 years straight and lost all 3 years in a row. This is the fourth time they play the Oilers in the playoffs in round one. I think this is the year they get it done.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, we both have the Leafs playing the Panthers in the second round. Brian, who are you taking?
Taking the Panthers.
I am also taking the Panthers. My faith in the Leafs does not extend past the second round. Past the first round. I would love to see the Leafs get it done because they remind me of the Seattle Mariners a lot. They have not won a Stanley Cup since 1967. They're the laughingstock of the league. Their ownership, everyone kind of,
too big of a
they've
stage.
had terrible owners. I agree. I think the defending Cup champs take care of the Leafs. I'd love to be wrong about that, but I'm taking the Panthers making it to the conference final. Then we've got the Caps. You are having the Caps play the Devils. I have Caps Canes. Who you taking in the second round?
I'm taking the Caps.
Caps is who I have regardless of who wins that first round series. They've looked really good this year. I do think it will be Caps Canes. I think it will be a close series, but I'm going to take Washington making it to the conference championship. Then I have the Avs versus the Blues. You have Avs Jets. Who you got in the second round?
Taking the Avs.
You're taking the Avs. I am also taking the Avs.
Shocker.
I like the Avs matchup against the Blues a lot better. That being said, the Avs took care of business last year against the Jets. I think they're capable of doing it again. If the Avs are to win another cup with the core, I think it would be this year. So I'm taking Avs to the conference final. Then we got Vegas versus LA. That could be a very entertaining series. Who are you taking?
Next question.
Vegas in 5?
Vegas in 5.
That takes us to so we have the exact same conference final.
Yeah. This is where
very
my
similar
dreams,
to our NBA
my
bracket.
dreams come true.
For we have a
And-
segment where we just argue with each other, but for that being said, these brackets the last 2 weeks have been very similar.
Yeah.
Agreed a lot.
Yeah, which is weird.
Who you
'cause we
taking
don't agree.
between Florida and the Caps?
I'm taking the Panthers.
I also have the Panthers. It would be crazy for a Florida team to make it back to the Cup Finals for the 6th year in the row, but I do think the Panthers are just more of a playoff team than the Caps.
Yeah.
Both of them are going to be. That's going to be a really good series. Should it come to that?
Yeah. And this is where my dreams come true as a baby hockey fan, where I get to just come into the office every day, scream in your face about how much the Avs suck, and Vegas in 5.
I would love a Colorado Vegas conference finals. I would put the game on every single day. I would be losing my mind. I would be acting like an absolute psychopath in this building. It's a good thing that we don't have like an HR person
Yeah.
dedicated to just like watching me,
Yeah.
because
You'd be fired.
I would be a menace to society.
Yeah. You'd be on a pip in a minute.
Now, there's a lot of good teams coming out of the West, and I would love nothing more for the Avs to crush Vegas, because I know that you're going to talk a bunch of crap, just like the Dodgers thing,
Yeah.
and I cannot have baby Bryan fan getting success in multiple sports.
It'd be so awesome.
It would be the
How
worst thing in
cool
the
would that
entire
be?
world. All of that said, I took Vegas to beat the Avs.
Oh no.
Vegas
Oh,
has had the more
no.
stable year. I got to the Final Four, and I spent probably 30 minutes. I was doing this on the car ride on the way up to Fairbanks for the Wolverines' first playoff weekend, which, by the way, Anchorage in 3. Up 2 games to none. Stole both games on the road, baby. We love that. Suck at Fairbanks. Square Banks. More like.
We're just going for it.
So I really think that series could go either way. I took Vegas versus Florida, which would be a rematch of 2 years ago Cup final.
Yeah.
If your other picks are to be believed, I'm assuming you're taking Vegas here.
Yeah.
which is nuts because I also took Vegas to win
Yeah,
the cup
baby!
against the Panthers. So we basically have submitted the same exact bracket with two exceptions, and both of them are in the first round. So it's Jets. You have the Jets beating the Blues. I have the reverse. I have the Canes beating the Devils. You have the reverse. I think that you might be right about the Jets. I don't think there's a chance in hell you're right about the Devils, which means that we're going to have the exact same bracket.
We'll see.
And then it comes down to...
What do you mean? You don't think there's a chance in hell? That's where the devils roam, baby. That's where they roam.
If the Devils and the Jets win and I lose this bracket challenge based off of 2 first-round predictions because you picked the exact same as me, and I should have just picked not Vegas because I should have known that this is how it was going to break down.
Because I'm loyal. You should probably check yourself, buddy.
This might be this. I may never financially recover from this.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah. So if anybody's hiring, Isaac is looking for a job to secure some income.
Do you have anything you want to touch on NBA playoff wise or NFL draft wise before we go?
Yeah, I mean, the NFL draft is this Thursday. I'm intrigued because this draft class isn't like, nobody's like screaming of like outside of like 2 or 3 players. And so I'm interested to see how the board falls. Some people have Shedeur Sanders falling out of the first round.
Crazy.
Which is insane.
I love this.
Which is insane. So
who are the Raiders picking?
See, I thought they were going to pick Ashton Genty, but now there's reports coming out that Jacksonville is eyeing Ashton Genty at 5. And if they do, they're going to take a tackle. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. This is one year where like it's not really set, but because I think the talent is like meh.
NBA wise, the Warriors up 1 game to none
in an ugly battle, dude.
That was a hideous game.
Dude, they didn't even break
95 to
100.
85. Hideous.
Yeah.
How you feeling about the Lakers right now?
I'm nervous. And I'm nervous because of the way it was Luka all first quarter, and then the rest of the team just never got going. Our defense looked awful. We blitzed way too much. And it looked like JJ got outcoached. And that for me is concerning. And I'm also, what's not being talked about enough is like, it's supposed to be a playoff game, and Staples Center was silent. Oh, it's not even Staples Center anymore. It's
Crypto.com Arena
was silent.
Speaking of stupid names,
was silent. So I have a lot of concerns.
We're recording this on Tuesday. Lakers have to win tonight.
It's a must win.
Have to win tonight.
Must
you
win.
cannot
LeBron
go
can't come out and
to
put up
Minnesota
19 points.
down 2 games to none.
No.
Just like
Sure
the
can.
Fairbanks Ice Dogs.
You sure cannot.
Even when we're rooting against each other, sports bring us together. Big episode next week, I think. A little bit shorter this week, but big episode. We'll be talking about the draft. Mm-hmm. And then we will have updates on both first rounds because there might even be some series wrapped up by then, potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
So we will see you next time on To The House.